Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
You got Luke.
Luke, we're continuing our series on companies that built the world with a much requested one from our write-ins covering Carrier.
Really?
Yeah, we have at least one big air conditioning fan out there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. I mean, I'm a big air conditioning fan.
Me too.
Like,
Not small air conditioners, big ones.
I got a story later.
Okay.
Like I always do.
As always.
But yeah, I like air conditioning.
Awesome. So Carrier, a little bit about them. Carrier was founded in 1915. Did you know that?
Yep.
As an independent American company manufacturing and distributing heating, ventilating, and air conditioning systems. Also did some commercial refrigeration, which kind of played into the war.
I see you and I both cut and paste from the same.
Oh, you even have the money? How much money is that thing worth?
So right now, it is
$18.5
$18.5 billion.
That's crazy.
And
That's a lot of air conditioners.
They're not the only air conditioning company. So if you think of like the total air conditioning potential, I mean, because Carrier is just one brand. I mean, there's a million different brands out there. I mean, what kind of air conditioner do you have at your house?
I have no idea.
I think I have a Hunter.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the one sitting outside your house. Does it say
I don't
Carrier
know.
on the side?
I never looked. I just moved, remember?
Oh, that's right.
And I don't know the one at the other house either.
I'm sure you don't. Okay.
I'm sorry. 1902 is when it all started. Is that fair?
I feel pretty good about that one.
You feel confident. Willis Carrier. I think nobody called him Willie except me.
Okay.
So Willis Carrier was known as the father of air conditioning.
He was.
Now, why is it... I mean, totally not even on topic here. Why is he the father of air conditioning when some people are considered like the grandfather of something? Is that when they only kind of contribute to something?
I think maybe whenever they make a significant improvement that is so big that it's better than the original kind of thing.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
So he invented the modern air conditioner.
So do you know why he invented it?
I do, but go ahead.
So this was July 17th, 1902. And there was this company, Sackett Wilhelm Lithographic and Publishing Company in Brooklyn, New York. They had some issues. Their factory floor had all kinds of air quality problems. And you could imagine the air quality back then couldn't have been that good. I mean, people were, smoking pipes and cigars and burning chemicals and coal in their house. And they didn't care about, the environment that people were working in.
No, not at all.
So apparently it was a big problem.
It is.
And good old Willie, he submitted drawings that became recognized as the very first modern air conditioning system to help these cats out.
Did you know how he came up with the idea originally?
I'm assuming it was inspiration through a dream.
It was a foggy Pittsburgh train platform in 1902. Where Carrier,
I didn't see that. Where did you see this?
This is like pretty well out there.
Okay.
Actually, that this is how it happened. Carrier stared through the mist and realized he could dry air by passing it through water to create fog. Doing so would make it possible to manufacture air with specific amounts of moisture in it. And so this is what Pittsburgh,
There's a
once
Pittsburgh
again,
connection?
is basically made air conditioning.
The epicenter of all things.
Yeah, but it's so well known that this is the actual case of how he came up with this that they later came back to it, and we'll get into it later on in our timeline here. They came back and did like an award ceremony at that location.
That's
so it's
cool.
like not even just me making stuff up for once.
Because that's normally what it is.
It usually is.
It is normally.
So Willie was a Cornell grad.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of our friends at Cornell.
Yeah, go Mud Ducks.
We got a lot of Mud Duck fans.
Yep.
Interesting fun fact, though. In 1881, Willis used his you probably used one of these before, his handy-dandy slide rule to calculate dew point control, which was groundbreaking work and was the basis of his modern air conditioner. So way back in 1881, he started doing this.
1881?
Yeah, with the slide rule.
Okay.
Smart cat, as you would say.
Yeah, not bad.
No? Okay, so back to 1902. Is
1902,
okay?
Shoot.
So you talked about installing things in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Move forward just a little bit to 1906. He receives, this is funny, this is why I'm calling it out. He receives a patent in the U.S. for, quote, an apparatus for treating
Yeah,
air.
I saw that.
That's like the whole description.
I actually read, like, I in Wikipedia they list
read?
well, a little bit. In Wikipedia they list the patents, and if you pick on them, it takes you to like the U.S. Patent Office original page, and I mean, just the way people wrote back then was extremely formal, and I didn't understand any of it other than I saw the apparatus piece.
I thought that was really funny. So later in 1906, Buffalo Forge Company, boo, Buffalo, who Carrier was working for at the time, started selling the apparatus for treating air to the Chronicle Cotton Mills of Belmont, North Carolina, and applies it to the mill's fan heater ventilating system. So this was like the first central station for humidifying. So
Okay.
that's kind of interesting, you know, down in the South, kind of hot, kind of humid. Got to keep things comfortable and up productivity.
1911.
Yeah, let's hear it. 1911.
1911. So when I first saw this, I thought this was like some kind of like philosophy book that he wrote, but it's called The Rationale Psychometric Formula. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it. You
Okay.
nailed that.
I thought it looks like formulae.
You did it so well that I didn't even need to verify.
You didn't even have to correct me.
No.
So this essentially is what, even to today, it's the cornerstone of all fundamental calculations in the air conditioning industry. And it's essentially this book where he wrote all about like dew point and humidity and all these different things. And he had all these different graphs about how, you know, humidity and dew point all affect one another.
Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting.
That was the stuff I was terrible at in college. Just terrible. Terrible.
That was the only thing.
I mean,
Everything else you were
everything else I excelled at or better.
excelled or better.
Excelsior. What do you think's better, being a cornerstone or a keystone?
I think corner.
Really? I feel
Right.
like the keystone is the key to hold everything together.
Yeah, but if the corner isn't there first, the key can't be there. Right?
We'll go with that. Okay. In 1914, we okay with moving on?
Yeah.
All right, 1914. The first application of air conditioning, this is sad, in a residence goes to the Charles Gates Mansion in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That dude had to have some money.
Well, so I have something about that. Do you know
Okay.
anything about
No,
him?
I didn't
Okay.
catch it.
So first off, Minnesota, really? That's where we need air conditioning first?
Well,
of all states?
Well, it's Minnesota.
Minnesota, eh? They say A as well, right?
I think they
I'll
do.
move that. Okay, so that's really odd to me that Minnesota got it instead of like Florida or Bama or one of those places.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be south.
So I think to myself as I'm reading this, who is Charles Gates with all this money? Right? Which is what you
course.
just asked.
Yep.
He was son of John, quote, Bet-A-Million Gates. So he got all of Daddy's money. Now, how did Daddy make his money? He was the pioneer manufacturer of barbed wire.
What?
Right? Exactly.
We need to do an episode on barbed wire.
Yeah, maybe we should. So sadly, Chuck died in 1913, and earlier I already told you this was in 1914, so his air conditioning installation actually finished up after his death.
Okay.
But his mansion was the one that got it first. I thought that was really bizarre, though. Barbed wire connection.
Well, I mean, someone has to make it, right?
Yeah. So 1915, that's really when things started kicking off, right?
I think so. That's whenever he founded Carrier Engineering Corporation.
That's right. Six of his homies and him.
Yep.
They pooled together their savings of $32,600.
Oh, geez, that's like, what, a week or two of podcast money.
I mean, if that. The way we've been rolling in money lately. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, so I thought that was funny. 7 people, $32,000 make a company that's now worth 18.5.
Did you see who any of the other cats were? Were they all engineers? I didn't look.
There was 1 or 2 other guys that I saw actually called out. I think one was the most influential, and I think it was the guy that got him involved with the first company that you talked about.
Buffalo Forge?
No.
Oh,
that.
the company that he helped out.
Right.
What's it called? Sackett Wilhelm Lithograph and Publishing Company.
Right. So I believe the guy there was the one who like hooked up with him then for this company.
Okay.
So that's kind of an interesting connection. So that same year, and you know how I always like to call out war for being such a big help to innovation. War once again helped out the company. Carrier's installations of modern air conditioning units in the International Arms and Fuse Company in Gross Old, New Jersey was performed for World War I, and it drastically improved the efficiency of the workers, how long they could be working, and working in like really gross hot environments.
You know, when you do that, you destroy our listenership.
Everybody in New Jersey knows that they're gross. I'm sorry, New Jersey. That's not true. I take it back. Only the ones near Philadelphia, because it's the worst place, are gross. And the ones near New York. But all of you in between.
Wow.
Okay.
There literally goes our entire...
I'm a little feisty today.
I know. I'm feeling... Well, it's right before break here coming up, so...
That's true. Okay, one more thing before we take a break. How about that?
Shoot.
Carrier Engineering closed 1915 with 40 contracts under its belt. First year, that seems pretty good, especially because I can't imagine these things were cheap.
No. Back in the day, they had to be... I mean, nowadays, it's crazy expensive.
Yeah. Speaking of crazy expensive, let's take a break for a word from our sponsor.
I have to assume it's Carrier.
It is not Carrier. Wah, wah.
One of these days.
We do not have a sponsor yet again to end the year here, which is sad. But we do have some shout-outs, which is not sad.
I like shout-outs.
Sarah M. wrote in, Cal Poly student for environmental engineering, and would like an episode on environmental engineering, much like our what is mechanical or civil engineering, because everybody forgets about them.
Here's
Or
the episode.
environmentals.
They wear Birkenstocks, and they like trees.
They need to take a bath.
And they like patchouli.
They do. That's not completely
Environmental
accurate.
engineers, done.
There you go. Well done, Luke.
Huh?
You were welcome, Sarah. But I said that we could add that to the list, and I would love to do it, because those are some of my favorite episodes.
I joke.
Sarvin KK we're going to go with, because I don't like to say the full names, says we're the only example to prove how interesting all sectors of engineering can be. I agree.
I totally agree.
Completely agree. All right. Well, thank you for writing in. There's more to come. Thank you for everyone who writes in. If you want to tell us great things or what we did wrong or make suggestions or just want some great stickers emailed your way, email us. Did I say emailed your way? Mailed your way.
Mailed.
Email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com.
SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you listen, make sure you like, make sure you review, make sure you 5-star us.
Man.
All that sort of
having
stuff.
a nice review on there would be lovely, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be very lovely.
It would be lovely. So, yeah, subscribe and review and all that jazz. All right, moving back on with Willie. What do you got?
Moving back on. So I want to kind of talk more about, I guess him?
The man, the myth, the legend?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But unfortunately, there wasn't a lot on the guy. Apparently, he was a pretty good engineer. He was, he graduated from Cornell. He was a BSc. He was an electrical guy. And he... where was it? I just lost my place. Graduated from Cornell, BSc, in 1901. He also has he died unfortunately in 1950.
That happens, yeah.
Yeah, it eventually happens. He was the son of Dwayne Willis Carrier and Elizabeth Hanville, were his parents. He has
Havland.
Did I say that wrong? Havland. Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought so.
Kinda-ish. He actually received only 2, which surprises me that I was able to find 2 honorary degrees. He got one from Lehigh University in 1935, and he got an honorary doctorate from Alfred University up in New York in 1942.
Alfred is a ceramics school through and through. They're big into ceramic engineering.
How do you know that?
Because I know stuff, Luke.
Really?
I also know that they used to have wing night, which I was very interested in when I was debating what college to go to.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. So can I take a break before you get into more
Shoot.
of this? I know we've made this call to action for our listeners before, but I think it's about time that Luke and I get an honorary degree from one of your universities.
Yeah, how hard could it be?
Maybe it's even like an honorary high school degree. What do I care?
Yeah.
You know, Mr. West, somebody out there, why don't you pick up the phone and make that happen? I'm looking for a PhD and master's, just an honorary bachelor's. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I think
but
they
I
just
think we
give
earned
them.
it.
I do too, and I also think that we should. I've been watching all of these commencement speeches.
Yeah.
And I think you and I think there should be this movement to get us to present at a commencement
That is
ceremony for
great.
some engineering school.
We probably could do it at one of those Jersey schools because let's be honest.
Why do you hate New Jersey?
I'm kidding. I kid. I say it with love. But yeah, let's get an honorary degree going and a commencement
I think
speech.
it's a great idea.
All right, continue on. I'm sorry.
Continue on. So he liked to be married, apparently too. He had 3 of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was married 3 times. He has 2 children. Didn't catch their names. Not super
Not real
important.
important. They did nothing.
But yeah, he was all about the Marys.
Yeah, it sounds like he was. Maybe he was really married to his work, and that was the problem.
I would bet that was probably the case.
I don't want to slander the guy, but maybe he was married to the work and interested with some of the people that were working there. Maybe that caused the
I'm
problems
married
too.
to this podcast. I mean,
You are.
I'm devoted.
And look at the problems that I cause in your
Look at the problems you cause in my marriage.
Oh goodness.
So he was inducted posthumously. I don't think I said that incorrectly, I'm sure. That means you're dead.
Yeah.
Into the National Inventors Hall of Fame only in 1985. It took him this cat.
Posthumously?
You're dead.
Once he was dead, into the National.
He was
Inventors Hall of
inducted
Fame.
dead into the National Inventors. See how it doesn't sound as nice? Only 1985.
That was a long time.
He
after
literally
died.
invented air conditioning. Literally the thing that makes our daily lives all over the globe where you have air conditioning absolutely amazing and comfortable. And it took till 1985?
So I know we talked about the Inventor Hall of Fame before, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just the Toy Hall of Fame. I don't remember.
I think we mentioned
but
the Inventor
I don't know
Hall
when
of
it
Fame.
actually started. So maybe it didn't start much before that. And that's
Okay.
why it took so long. I'm trying to give them an out.
Yeah, okay. Either way, in 1985, Inventor Hall of Fame. And then
for
he
him.
also made it into the Buffalo Science Museum Hall of Fame in 2008. And the reason why it was Buffalo, apparently, whenever they were like consolidated and being purchased and joining other companies, they ended up in Syracuse, which I guess is near Buffalo, something
Yeah.
like that.
The orange. Yeah. Fun fact on that.
Shoot.
I'll have to go find it, but it goes something like this. They were allowed to slap their name on the Carrier Dome. There it is. In 1980, Carrier
That's where the
was
Carrier
allowed,
Dome comes from?
Yeah, was allowed to slap their name on the dome. So the Carrier Dome, the football and basketball arena at Syracuse University. So that's something, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Orangemen.
Okay.
They're all well air conditioned.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, continue on.
That's about it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
How about this is a cool fun fact
Shoot.
for you. Way back in 1917, Carrier hired Margaret Ingalls as America's first woman air conditioning engineer, right around the time that the decision to allow U.S. women the right to vote was being debated. They're debating this, and Carrier's like, yeah, we're going to hire this lady. That's cool.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, the same person, Ingalls, wrote Willis Carrier's biography in 1952.
I want you to write my biography.
Do you want me to?
I think so. I do. I think that would be good.
I think I should as well. Maybe you should have someone else write another version, and we'll compare how they...
I don't know if it would be
match
any
up.
good.
Okay, well, I'll write it.
Yeah.
I'll sign up for that. Hopefully you're not planning on, like, passing away.
No
anytime soon.
chance. No
Okay.
chance. So we were talking about the war was good. Guess what was bad? The Great Depression. So the Great Depression happens. Obviously, people have no money. They were depressed because they didn't have air conditioning. And the company almost went under. They weren't acquired. I think they joined forces with another company to be able to kind of stay afloat. And then they managed through the Great Depression. And they're actually a subsidiary of some big
You're just busting through the years, aren't you? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, no. I'm just like Carrier in and of itself doesn't exist anymore. They're just a subsidiary at this point. Of just some big multinational company.
United Technologies.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, and they make they own aircraft engine companies and air conditioning companies and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I have all sorts of info about all that stuff that they own too. It's crazy.
Good, because we need it, because I think we're going to run out of material for this one.
I think you're going to run out of material.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still back in 1920.
I'm just about out. Okay, yeah, I got way ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
It's all good. Carrier bought their first factory in 1920, Luke, in the beautiful, lovely, gorgeous city of Newark, New Jersey. So
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't Jersey the Garden State?
it is the Garden State. Yes, well done.
Why are we talking about Jersey so much on this episode?
A lot of Jersey ties.
Okay.
Jersey Shore. 1922, Carrier invented the centrifugal chiller, which was kind of a big deal. 1925, this is a cool fun fact. The New York City's new Madison Square Garden opened, employing Carrier centrifugal chillers to cool its patrons and, more importantly, in my opinion, produce a perfect ice surface for professional hockey.
Have you ever been to Madison Square Garden?
I have not, have you?
No.
It's apparently very neat, big,
I don't know.
all those words.
I couldn't tell you.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. There's
Shoot.
stuff about how they slapped their air conditioners on boats, and
They're everywhere now.
Yeah, they put it in the first skyscraper in San Antonio, things like that. 1944, Carrier contributes to the war effort once again in the World War IIs, which included refrigeration products that ensured the safe delivery and storage of perishable foods to the soldiers.
That's nice. You don't
Yeah.
even think about that. I guess they do have to ship that stuff.
Yeah, that they do. So that was nice. You're right. On October 7th, 1950, you mentioned 74 years young, Willis Carrier died while on a trip to New York City.
Oh.
Wah, wah. I guess he was almost 74.
That's actually that old.
No.
Is it?
And even in like a lot of the times we're like, well, but back then. I mean, back then was only 1950.
Yeah, that's.
So it wasn't that long ago. So 73 is not exceptionally old.
What do you think is old nowadays?
How old are you?
Shut up.
Nice. I feel like 85
Is
a
old.
good age. Like, to die, you mean? Or
Yeah, like so. When
because my
would-
mom's old. Sorry, Mom. But I don't think she should die yet.
This got really dark really
Yeah.
fast.
I think 85 is a good death age.
Death age.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think it should be?
I consider old like 72-ish area.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
fair.
I think a good dying age is like I think health and everything and exercise. I think 90 is a better death
okay,
age.
80, 85, 90. I can deal with that.
Okay.
All right. So before we
Sorry.
get on with talking about how old you should be when you die, how about we take a break for this week's Luke's Rant?
Okay, so
Hey, everyone over 90.
hey,
go
everyone over
die.
90, go die. No. So this rant is kind of like an environmental rant. We're talking about air conditioning and all the comforts that we have and how it kind of makes our lives better. I watched this documentary just the other day about like how plastic water bottles are like the worst thing ever. Like there was this video of like over in India, like there's tidal waves of plastic bottles in the ocean on these people's beaches, and it's just absolutely terrible. So my rant is throw away water bottles. And
You're telling us to throw away our water bottles?
No, I'm telling you to stop buying bottled water.
Okay.
Buy a water filter.
Tell Pittsburgh
Get
to
one
have
in
better
your-
water.
So I have a filter on my refrigerator that I replace, and I use a Brita sometimes. But I just think that you should be using, some kind of reusable water bottle, and I just think I think that it's just going to be terrible. And I have a feeling they started with straws, right? You can't use
There is a big
straws.
movement now.
And I think California, they're getting rid of plastic straws. And if you think about the amount of plastic that's in a straw versus a water bottle, I just heard Giant Eagle here in Pittsburgh.
You said Eagle. You're so Pittsburgh.
I am so Giant Eagle. I heard that Giant Eagle here in Pittsburgh, they're actually getting rid of plastic bags. Water bottles have to be the next thing that goes, plastic water bottles. So my rant is, think about the future of our planet and your kids and the environment and just reuse a water bottle.
I agree. Reuse a water bottle. I use cups at home all the time and just put water in it. I don't use actual water botthes. Though I guess I am guilty of it when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Like traveling. I buy water bottles. Which
Good
is
friend
bad.
Jason Momoa is he has this canned water thing
He's
that he does.
Aquaman. Of course he's
He
a big
has to.
fan of this. And he hates telescopes.
He's
That's all I know.
He's a big fan of the show.
He is.
He's been in Pittsburgh recently for
he's
filming some movie.
Yeah, I saw him hanging out with a lot of the sports teams players watching hockey and whatnot.
Okay.
He's probably opposed to hockey because it freezes water and
No,
then he
he's
can't
okay
swim
with
in
it.
it.
Oh.
No? Did you see, I've seen it all over the internets, speaking of cleaning up your water bottles and stuff, the first trip by some company to clean up that giant patch of garbage out in the ocean came back.
yeah.
They're like recycling and
some
reducing
kids
it.
started it, I think. Some
stupid
young kid
kids
back
being
in the
good
day.
at stuff. Yeah. So that's nice that they're cleaning up your mess.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving on.
1952, I told you that great, Pittsburgh Connection. So on the 50th anniversary of air conditioning, Carrier president, so this was about 2 years after Willie's death, the Carrier president, Cloud Wampler,
Whoa. I'm so glad we don't
Cloud.
name people like this anymore.
and the president of the P&IE Railroad stand on the platform in Pittsburgh where Willis Carrier first conceived of modern spray-type air conditioning. So that's kind of neat.
I love the
67 years
Pittsburgh
ago.
Connection. That's
Pittsburgh
pretty cool.
basically did everything better than anything Jersey ever did. 1979, Carrier was acquired by United Technologies. So this was the company that you were talking
Yep.
about. They bought them up. They own a whole bunch of other stuff. What kind of other stuff do they own? Well, United Technologies recently merged with Raytheon, which apparently is kind of big.
Pew,
So-
pew, pew. They make shooty stuff, don't they?
They may have some shooty stuff involved. So United and Raytheon combined have a market value close to $166 billion with a B dollars.
Oh, geez. So their $15 billion last year
was like
a
drop in,
oh my
in
goodness.
the bucket. Yeah, isn't that crazy? $166 billion. They will have an annual revenue near $74 billion. And other names that you might recognize that United Tech would be involved with would be things like Collins Aerospace, kind of like you were talking about, as well as Pratt & Whitney, which is another biggie.
Okay.
So they're really big. I think they're up to like third in the defense contracting companies.
That's pretty
And
cool.
somehow United, the airline, used to be connected with United Technologies. I don't know if it is anymore.
I don't think it is. I
but it
remember
was
we
at one
talked about
point.
that, I think.
Yeah. I think we also talked about Willis as a great one-hit wonder engineer back in that episode.
I think we did too.
I don't remember because, contrary to popular belief, we don't remember everything.
I remember nothing from what we do this research on, other than the fact that my feed for Facebook and Twitter and all the ads. I'm going to have ads for air conditioners for the next 6 months.
I hate how that happens. I mean, it's my job in real life,
It
but
drives me bananas.
okay, so a few fun facts to kind of wrap things up here.
Shoot.
Is that okay? I already told you about the Carrier Dome since you went and destroyed that one for me.
Sorry.
But I liked that. So in 1993, this is an interesting one. The Sistine Chapel was
The 16th chapel?
The 16th chapel was finally finished being restored, and Carrier's preservation work included the use of highly accurate humidity measuring units. Like there's one that's placed on a ledge 30 feet above the floor and invisible to visitors.
So they probably got to keep it at the right
they-
humidity for the painting, so they don't
they
like
have to
melt
keep it,
and.
Yep, got to keep it. Well, I don't think they'll melt, but
Well,
But they're trying to preserve them so they don't have to go through this whole repainting them effort again. And you have to keep in mind that there's like a jillion people in that stupid room at all times.
Yeah, my
looking at
wife
the
went there. She
stupid
said it was
ceiling.
terrible.
My note says that place sucks. Don't waste your time. So I agree completely.
Yeah.
It's so crowded, and all the other stuff that you walk through on the way there is way more impressive. This one's just, super famous. And then one last fun fact for you. In 2008, if you remember back that far, Luke, the Beijing National Stadium, a major venue that was used when Beijing hosted the Olympics.
The nest thingy,
The
or
bird's
the thing
nest.
that looked like it was generatively designed.
It does look like it was generatively designed. I don't know if it was, but the bird's nest. It featured Carrier air conditioning or air handling units and the first Chinese-produced HVAC product certified by EN 1886, the highest international HVAC standard. So good job, Carrier. What?
Yeah.
No, really. I mean, like, leading the way on green initiatives, hiring women
Heck
before they
yeah.
were even allowed to vote, coming up with your idea in Pittsburgh,
Keeping my pits from getting sweaty.
supporting the economy in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I think Carrier did a lot of great stuff.
So up until I'm going to go get a Carrier air conditioner now. Up until 4 years ago, how long ago did I move here?
Oh, more than 4. wasn't
Okay, so
it?
5 years ago. So let's say it's 5 years ago. So this house that I live in right now is the first house I've ever lived in that has whole house air conditioning.
What do you mean, like central air?
Yeah, so the house I used to live in for right down the street for whatever it was, 12, 13 years, we had window air conditioners that we would use in the summertime, and actually we very rarely used them.
Did you move them yourself? Because they get pretty heavy.
Oh yeah, we did. We did. And the thing was, I always said, "Oh, I don't like air conditioning." I'd very rarely use it. I would just use the overhead fan and do that sort of stuff. When we moved here and I realized what whole house air is like, I put it on like 65 degrees, and I basically wear sweatshirts in the summertime.
I wear sweatshirts all the time in the summertime as well.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more at like the 72, 74 range typically.
Oh, I keep it crazy. 74 degrees?
Yeah.
In your house?
My wife likes it warm.
I have it at 70 now, and it's wintertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have it at 70 in the winter. One more thing. Couple of brands, since some of you might not know Carrier, you might know Bryant. I think that's a pretty well-known one, at least in America. Payne, Day and Night, Heel and Temper Star, Lennox, which owns Duquesne, Armstrong, Concord, Allied, and Air Ease, and then Goodman, and they make Amana and Janitrol. So we're getting global here.
So I know. So some of them. So that Goodman over at the house I used to own, I rent it now. I'm actually getting a Goodman air conditioning. That's basically their like bargain basement brand.
Yeah.
So it's like a third less than if you bought like the Carrier branded one.
I wonder if it's like they just put a different sticker on it.
I'm pretty sure
honestly.
that's exactly what they do.
I know, like, when I was working with Blue Bunny on the ice cream, it would be like they'd be shooting out ice cream into different crates and be like, and this one's going for this company's ice cream, and this one's going for that one. And it's like, well, that's dirty.
I'm sure they do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting.
It is.
All right. Well, that is everything anyone could possibly ever want to know about Carrier.
This was a stretch.
This was a stretch?
A little bit.
Wow. I thought it was really interesting.
Okay. No,
I said it with a straight face.
Such a liar.
Hopefully some of you found this pretty interesting, and if you have any other companies that built the world you want us to talk about, email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com. Until next time.
See ya.